FA Cup final. And Hatchin! What a magnificent goal!
Good evening and welcome to All Things Sky Blue match preview. Another derby game against Birmingham City, this time at the CBS Arena on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff again. So hopefully we will get a better result than we did last weekend. Before I bring my guests in, just remember where you can find us. It is scrolling down on the ticker at the bottom. We are available on X or Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If you watch us, please go and like and subscribe. If you listen to us on a podcast, please go and rate us 5 stars. We are available on all platforms, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, or wherever else that you get your podcasts from. We're sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications. He can do your steel fabrication work up and down the country, but mainly in the Coventry and Warwickshire area. We are partnered with the Sky Blue Tavern and Dillon's Brewery. And we've also teamed up this year with the Sports Social Network and Sky and Friends dog walking and pet sitting services. So, on that note, let me bring my guest in. As always, my co-host, Mark Smith, if he comes in. Hello, Mark. Hold on. Hello, here he is. How you doing?
Good evening. Yeah, I was trying to work out if I need to let myself in or you let me in. But
no, I let you in, but for some reason it's not automatically switching over to the two video links kind of thing. Really, it's annoying. But anyway, how are you doing, Mark? Good evening.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I'm. As you can see, I'm not in my usual spot tonight because I'm in the process of moving house. So I'm moving to rugby as of tomorrow, so I'll be a Midlander like yourself.
I will say to everyone, though, he was just lying down, by the way, so I'm glad he's actually sitting up and looks like he's paying attention now. He wasn't before.
I was getting quite comfy lying down in bed, and people could be watching it, could thinking, is he going to sleep? Is he getting bored?
That's it. That's it.
Accusations like that. But no, I'm actually sitting on the edge of my bed, and I'm on the iPad. I'm ready to rock and roll anyway.
Excellent. Fantastic. So before we bring Sam in, a Birmingham fan, let's talk about the M69 derby a little bit before we do bring him in. So 0-0 draw, some okay performances, some a little lackluster, I think, personally. But a point on the road, M69 derby against Leicester, who are looking like they might be there or thereabouts this season as well. Good point for you, Mark?
Yes, I thought it was an excellent point. I think Leicester will be a side that you would imagine will be, challenging the top 2 this season. And I thought we acquitted ourselves well. I thought it was a good defensive performance. I think we're a little bit limited going forward, if the truth be told. I thought in fairness, Leicester did defend quite well as well. But overall, as the away side, to get a result there, bearing in mind that we didn't get anything there 2 seasons ago. So that was a really good result. I guess the only disappointment was not so much that game, but the games before that where we probably should have won. I'm happy with the point there, but I think the games before that, I felt we should have been turning them draws to wins. But good defensive performance. I was a bit critical of the way we've been conceding goals, but goalkeeper Carl Rushworth had his best game for the club. I liked how we defended generally as a team. I thought we were good. I thought Thomas Asante had a decent game playing sort of out of position, but he had a good defensive performance, although I felt it was a little bit limited going forward. Rodoni was a little bit quiet. He had a good shot, obviously, in the second half, which was well saved, but was a little bit quiet as well. But overall, it's a good result. I've got to say, though, Stuart, I think this league is very, very open this year, and I'm sure Sam will come and will agree to that, because you look at league table, okay, Middlesbrough have been off to a flyer, but all the other teams, really, there's not a lot of points to separate, say, Stoke in second with maybe 10th, 11th in the league. I think it's a very, very open league this year. And when I compare it to last year, I look at the likes of, say, Burnley and Leeds, who got automatic promotion. I thought they were a lot better than what Leicester were. Leicester, for me, I thought that their best players were out on the width. I thought Fatawa and not so much Mavididi. I thought he should have scored, but I thought Mongo, when he came on, looked a real threat. Yeah. So that was their real two best players. But other than that, they were solid enough defensively. But considering they're a team that were in the Premier League last year, I don't think they were as good as what people might think. So overall, I think that the Championship generally is a very open league this year, and it gives a lot of encouragement to clubs like ourselves, to the Birminghams, obviously we're playing, and a lot of teams around there. I think it's a very open division this year, and it could be a really, really exciting league. So, this game is a big game Saturday. We need the points because we haven't won for a few games now. So it'd be nice to, although we had an unbeaten start, we haven't won since the QPR drubbing. So we need to turn those draws to wins, and hopefully that starts on Saturday.
Yeah, like I always say, draw your away games, win your home games, and you'll be somewhere close. So, like you said, with these few games that we are drawing, I think you're right. I think we do need to start turning them into wins, especially at home. We drew against Hull at home opening day of the season. So, we can win on the road. I'm not saying we can't, because we beat Derby 5-3. But yeah, the draws, they're not concerning me because we're still very early on in the season. If we're 15 games down the line and we've only drew 4, then and we've maybe lost 1 or 2, then that still doesn't look that bad then, does it? But we have got to start turning these draws into wins, most definitely. Yeah. Bobby Thomas was a standout for me as well. I thought he had a really good defensive performance. And, we have been critical a little bit of Bobby Thomas, and is Wolfenden going to come in? But technically, so I'm presuming that, unless injuries happen, it's pretty much going to be the same team that started against Leicester that's going to start against Birmingham at home as well, unless Mason Clark's back. Obviously, he might be back anyway. So let's bring Sam in, Birmingham City fan. Good evening, Sam. How are you?
Hello. Yes, I'm good, thanks. Really looking forward to this fixture. And as you said, with the Championship this season, it's already been blown wide open, I think, with a lot of the, favoured teams getting off to shaky starts. And yeah, a real mixture of teams in and around that promotion mix. Yeah,
definitely. First of all, Sam, I want to come on to your manager. So just explain to me a little bit, because I'm a little bit bemused. So you got promoted, you went up champions from League One. You haven't started the season that badly. Why is there such a divide that I'm, from an outside looking in, it just seems there's a little bit of a divide on Chris Davis?
I'd say it's probably down to expectation. That's the main thing. I think the way that we got out of League One last season, the football we were playing was amazing. So therefore, there is that expectation going into this season that we're going to do a similar thing. But obviously, it's going to be harder to do that in the Championship against tougher opposition. So, straight away within the first game of the Championship, where we gave Ipswich a really good game and drew 1-1, all of a sudden the fans are like, yeah, we can do it, we can go again. And we've had some good results, the last minute winner against Blackburn, win against Oxford, and then the last game a win against Swansea. But, in between those results, we had a couple of wobbly performances, like the 2-0 defeat at Leicester and then the 1-0 defeat at Stoke, where we looked pretty toothless going forward. I think in the 4 games prior to the Swansea game, we only had 2 shots on target. So it's that kind of worry there about not making the possession count. And a lot of Blues fans are kind of saying like, yeah, it's all good playing this possession football and keeping the ball, but then what you're doing at the end of the attacks, are you creating enough chances? Are you getting enough shots on target away? So I wouldn't say it's a thing necessarily with Chris Davis, but it's more so the philosophy and like the style of football. And we know he's the manager to turn it around, but it's just that little bit of adaptability going into a new division against tougher opposition where you're not going to get as many chances, you're not going to get as much of the ball. And I feel like against Swansea, we made those changes and it counted, with Lyndon Dykes coming off the bench to score the winner in the end. So it's just that adaptability that I think fans are looking for in Chris Davis, not so much the manager himself.
Okay, fair enough. So has he, obviously you're talking about philosophy, has he changed his philosophy from when you won League One to how you've started the Championship? What's he changed if anything? Or is it just the fact that you're playing against harder opponents?
So I would say the Swansea game is the first game where I really noticed it, and it's the only game this season where we haven't had more possession than the other team, and it's more about trying to get shots off on target and test the goalkeeper, because we had 7 shots on target and over 20 shots in total within that game, and it was just that question of really testing their goalkeeper. And I feel like we're really good at like keeping the ball in terms of trying to wear down opponents, but it goes back to that thing again in the Championship where they can kind of either catch you out or the counter, or they could be clever at set pieces and whatnot. So it's really about changing the way that we play to fare against these teams that are just better. And I feel like Swansea's the game where I really noticed that. And Ethan Galbraith in the midfield for them, a real stand-up player so far this season. First half was getting a lot of the ball and they were creating chances, but second half, I think it took him 22 minutes of that half to even complete a pass. So we adapted within the half-time break and really went out in the second half, changing what we need to in order to get the result.
Yeah, obviously, you're the game that. Sorry if you can hear fireworks in the background. Apologies for that. I don't know why fireworks are going off.
September.
I know, yeah. So I watched your opening game of the season against Ipswich, and you started off so fast, and that's what kind of worries me, because every game that I've watched you so far, you've started like a house on fire. It's really, really quick, and I thought, well, normally that doesn't happen. Normally it's a slow build up and everyone goes into the game nice and slowly, but you guys are just off the block straight away, and that's the bit that concerns me, that you will catch us a little bit too slow if you do that. So going into the recent history of us, so you haven't got the greatest record against us, if I'm honest.
Really?
I didn't actually realise it was that bad. So in the last 6, you've lost 3, won 1 and drew 2. And obviously the one that you won was last season when we were on a bit of a downward spiral anyway. So you caught us a little bit off guard.
You're focused on the cup, I think, at that point.
Well, yeah, I think we were as well. You've got to go back to 2006 in the league that you beat us at home, and in the cup was 2012. So they're the most recent. But apart from that, you've either lost at your place and drew. So I'm not trying to do a team talk for your team already, if I'm honest. But it's, signs are showing that hopefully we can get the win. But like I said, your fast starts do worry me a little bit. What's your history with Birmingham versus Cov?
I mean, there's been some bonkers games over the years, especially during that time before COVID when you were ground sharing with us, and we played you in the FA Cup home and away in our own ground, which was really funny. And like we scored, I think, in the 90th minute and then the 120th minute to take it to penalties, and we won on penalties in the end. And that was a funny game. And then we had the one a couple seasons ago when you beat us at your place and Wayne Rooney was the manager, and I feel like that's the game where all of the fans were then like, Rooney's not for us. We got completely dominated in that game. And it was a real write-off. And then the one that we beat at home, obviously you guys were getting to the FA Cup semi-final and doing all that stuff, and we were fighting for our lives really at the bottom of the Championship. And that's one of those games where we really turned up and used the home atmosphere to our advantage. And it was too little too late, unfortunately, in the whole grand scheme of the season. But mixed memories in the last few years of the fixture.
Okay, fair enough. Any questions at the minute, Mark, for Sam?
Obviously, you spent quite a bit of money on players. I think about £14 million. I think I've forgotten his name. He's Fukuwashu, this Japanese player. I think
Kyogo Furashi. Yeah.
Furashi. Yeah. Sorry, apologies for my bad pronunciation.
Sorry.
Who's been the standout signing for you from what you've seen this season?
This is a bit of a tricky question actually, because a lot of the fans have been saying that the little bit of drop off in form has come with a lot of the new signings joining and just struggling to gel a little bit. I feel like Chris Davis has struggled so far to find his best 11, because there's a lot of great individual quality, but it's about how they mesh together as a starting 11. But from what I've seen so far, Brightisai Samuel, right back, has been really good for us. Used to be at QPR, then went to Fenerbahce and played under Jose Mourinho there, and kind of transitioned from a winger into a fullback. and now he's in hot competition with Ethan Laird for that right back position. And it looks like Asai Samuel's got the nod to be the starting right back. And he's made a good impression so far, with his physicality and his positioning. And he's made a really good impression. And another new signing that I'd say has also hit the ground running so far has been Tommy Doyle. And he's someone that's not really got a consecutive run of games at the moment, but you can see that he's clearly got a lot of talent with the ball. And it's just about, again, trying to find his right position. Because at the moment he started either as like a deep line playmaker or like a number 10, and we don't quite know his best role yet. But I imagine that as the season goes on, Tommy Doyle will transpire to be one of our players that we lean on the most in order to try and get us out of trouble. So I'd say that them two are the ones that have stood out for me the most so far.
Is he on loan at Wolves, Tommy? Is he
it's a loan with an obligation to buy.
Yeah.
Obviously, because Kyogo started off having what was one of the best opening day goals ruled out so stupidly.
Oh, don't.
Don't
get me started on it.
I'm sorry I've got to mention it, but that was a brilliant goal and it should never have been disallowed. He's kind of gone off the boil a little bit, hasn't he? What is it again? Do you think it's just a case of him adapting to the Championship, really?
I think it's a thing actually where it's the players around Kyogo that have got to adapt to him, because some of the runs he's making are absolutely fantastic, but it's just the players not quite picking him out. And Chris Davis actually said in an interview that the runs that Kyogo's making is almost too good for our players, because with the pedigree that he's got, playing in the Champions League for Celtic and, breaking records for them in Scotland and then moving to Rennes, who is like a Ligue 1 side, and then joining us. And it's not quite the calibre of service that he's been used to at these clubs. So I feel like we've got to kind of adjust to his runs. And yes, he has got himself in good positions. And yes, he has been found at certain times and has missed the target. But I feel like with Kyogo, time will be the best healer, I think, for his form. I reckon as he starts more games and really adjusts to his surroundings and the players can then pick him out and he has more of these clear-cut chances, then he'll start putting them away. So I haven't lost full faith in Kyogo yet, but I think it's a thing where time will prove to be the best method for his kind of goal drought at the moment.
Okay, and what about Stansfield? Because obviously record signing in League One, stupid amount of money. He couldn't really score unless it was a penalty in League One, that it seemed anyway. How's he adapted? Because he is somebody that I do like and I am worried about again, really. But how's he getting on?
So Jay Stansfield was one of our very few shining lights in the season we got relegated. And once we dropped down to League One, we thought there's absolutely no way he's going to come back. He's going to be fighting for a place in the Fulham team in the Premier League. But lo and behold, on deadline day, somehow we managed to get a deal done for around £20 million with add-ons. And it's just, been love at first sight, really, with Stansfield. Like, he just puts a load of effort in, a real grafter, really buys into the Birmingham way of putting yourself about and just giving 100% on the pitch. And he's really good in front of goal as well. 18 goals in League One last season. And yes, critics out there have said that a lot of the goals are penalties, but he does so much good off the ball, when it comes to his pressing and really setting that momentum forward with, the press that he operates with at the front. And that's why Chris Davis loves him so much. And in that season we got relegated, we have about 5 or 6 different managers, but all of them pick Stansfield in their starting 11 because they know what he offers. And he's one of those players that we're not concerned about him making the jump up to the Championship, because he reached double digits last time we were in there. So he's someone that we're looking for, the goals from, but we can't be overly reliant on Stansfield, because he was missing in the game for us against Leicester. And that was one of those games where we looked completely toothless. And then he came into the side against Stoke, but he weren't 100% fit, and we could tell that. So I'm hoping that throughout the season, yes, Stansfield can score goals, but it's people around him also chipping in as well, the likes of Kyogo and other players in his position.
Excellent. Fantastic. Okay, fair enough. Injuries. Now, obviously, again, I don't believe any rumours that I necessarily hear until it's absolutely true. But obviously, there was a rumour going around that Chris Davis wanted the game called off because you've got so many injuries to key players. So I had a little look, and it looks like Alex Cochrane, Keshi Anderson, Williamson, and Wright. Are there any other injuries that we need to know about, or are they the ones that he's worried about and you're absolutely fine? Because they don't seem like starters to me. Maybe Keshi Anderson a little bit.
Scott Wright and Lee Buchanan are out until next year, so they definitely won't feature. Keshi Anderson started off the season, but then has picked up a knock and has not been in the last couple matchday squads. So I don't anticipate he's going to be in this squad. Same for Willem Willemsen, started off the season fit, but then picked up a knock. So he's probably going to be out. With Alex Cochrane, he got a head injury against Swansea, so it could be a thing where we rest him initially because of precaution. But I imagine it's one of those things where as time goes on, we'll get a better idea of whether he's going to play or not. And as for other injuries, I mean, there always seems to be something round the corner, especially a lot of championship clubs where there's all these games consecutively. And I know in the run up to the international break, we've got 3 games in 7 days with you guys on Saturday, and then Tuesday against Sheffield Wednesday and Friday night against Wrexham. So we've got this run of fixtures until the international break. So it could be a case of if a player's not 100%, resting them for the next game and just trying to get out an 11 that is fully fit and can fully compete, and really monitoring the fitness of players throughout this run.
Excellent. Okay. Before we move on to the next little bit as well, everyone, please remember, All Things Sky Blue is on the shortlist for an FCA. So that's a Football Contents Award for Best Podcast. So if you guys can go onto their website for us and please go and vote for us, it is much appreciated. We want to thank everyone that does watch and does listen to us. It's a fantastic honour just to be on the shortlist. So thank you very much for that. So if you can go and vote, that'd be much appreciated. Sam, I want you to vote for us as well, kiddo. Thank you very much.
You'll be getting my vote, definitely.
Excellent. Thank you. Right. So moving on. Any questions for us, Sam?
Actually, wanted to ask a bit about like Coventry's attack versus Coventry's defence, because as Blues fans, we look at the figures and we see, the amount of goals she scored against QPR and the amount of goals she scored against Derby, and like you've got the best goal difference in the league. But there is that question about the goals conceded, and do you think you're as strong at the back as you are going forward?
So the goals that we've conceded so far have pretty much been from set pieces.
Right.
Well, I think open play goals we've only conceded 2. So
okay.
if you take away them set pieces, we've actually done okay. It's not been that bad. We've just made silly mistakes on set pieces. Derby was one of them. We conceded 3, 1 penalty, 1 free kick, and 1 from a corner. And that was their 3 goals, really. So if we tighten up, which we did against Leicester, we played better against Leicester defensively, then we stand a really good chance, because again, we are creating goals. We created chances against Leicester. We just couldn't put them away. And Rushworth, as Mark mentioned at the start, had one of his best games for us, if not the best game that he's had so far for Coventry City. So confidence is going to be going high defensively. Still question marks over if Wolfenden or when Wolfenden's going to come in. But at the moment, it looks like it's the back 4 is what the back 4 is, not including the goalkeeper, because obviously Rushworth will be in goal. So Milan will be right back probably, Thomas, Kitchen and De Silva. De Silva's stepped up massively this year, just like he did at the end of last year. So it's, for me, I don't know whether you think any differently, Mark, but for me, I think we stand in good form defensively if we can cut out the set piece errors.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you say there. I think Leicester was kind of the opposite, really, where we were good defensively, but not as good going forward. But the thing is, Sam, is that we could have. I mean, we look at the goals we scored. We could have scored more. Even the Norwich game. How on earth did we win that game?
I watched the highlights for that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. we probably created enough chances to have won 2 matches. It was just one of them games where we couldn't score. We just did everything but score. And I just cannot. I was pretty annoyed we drew. I know we scored in 90 plus minutes, but to me that was massive 2 points drops. I went to the Oxford game. And yeah, I mean, we were by far the better side first half, and then second half we should have been more than 2-1 up after half. We got to half time, and then second half we just allowed Oxford back in the game. So yeah, I think we've got a good side. I think my concern with us this season is, I think our first 11's really good. It's a match from any team in the division. But if we get a couple of injuries to key players, I feel like we don't have the quality of backup players that can come in and do a job. And that's been a problem with Coventry City for a number of years. It's not just this season. I mean, I even look at the playoff season when we got to the final at Wembley, when we had Victor Gyökeres and Gus Hamer, who were the standouts, obviously. But the players after that weren't at that level, and that's the problem we've got. I think we've got a good side. I think we're going to have a good season. And as I said earlier, I think it's going to be a really interesting Championship division. I think it's really up for grabs. I think there's a lot of teams who could look at it and say, you know what, it could be our year this year, and we are sixth in the league, but the league table's very tight. Birmingham have also got 10 points, and have done well. And I expect Birmingham to have a good season this year. In all fairness, I think they can definitely challenge for playoffs. So I think it's a really, really big game for both teams. And if we can get that win, then obviously it'd be great for us. Likewise for Birmingham. So I think it's going to be a really, really interesting game. I actually watched the game against Leicester, and I thought Birmingham played okay at Leicester. I thought from what I saw, I thought Leicester were lucky personally when I think it's Ricardo Pereira done an over the top challenge. I think he caught the player right on the ankle.
Good VAR, he's off.
Yeah, he caught. I can't remember which Birmingham player it was. I do forgive him for that. But all I could say is how the referee's not giving that a red card. But that's by the by. But my point is that it's I think it's going to be a really exciting league this year, the Championship. I think there's a lot of. I know Middlesbrough have had a flyer, but I can't imagine Middlesbrough they're going to drop points at some point. So I think there's a lot of teams in it, and I think it's going to be a really good division. And it's kind of encouraging to see the likes of Ipswich, Southampton. Go off to a pretty poor start, because I think it gives
and Sheffield United,
of course, Sheffield United, yeah. Well, yeah, but it gives clubs like ourselves a lot of encouragement that if you can take advantage of it, and whoever wins on Saturday, it will be a massive result. So after all that, it'll probably be a draw now. So
well, look, in all honesty, I just don't want Blues to take our unbeaten run away. So at the minute, I'm hoping we'll win, and I think we'll win, but I would take a draw just because I do want this unbeaten run to carry on, if I'm honest. So a draw at home, not the greatest, but I would take it. But I do think that I think we'll get something from the game, hopefully. So we'll have to wait and see. Any other questions, Sam?
I just wanted to say actually about your point earlier on set pieces. We haven't scored from a set piece this season, and
thank God for that.
Yeah, because that's a side of for you. And it's something that Chris has mentioned in pre-season that we want to try and improve at. And to be honest, majority of the fan base have not seen an improvement in set pieces. A lot of them just consist of putting it back post to Christoph Clara, and he either gives away a foul or the ball goes out of play. And that's something that's really frustrated the fans. And again, there was some changes to that with Swansea, with a short corner or one to the front post. There was a little bit of flexibility of the set pieces then. But we've not really looked threatening from set pieces. So if you're worried about that, I wouldn't worry. But, now I've said that.
I know. Oh, it's going to be sod's law, isn't it? It's going to be a set piece. 1-0 Birmingham win. Ruin everything from a set piece.
Yeah.
But no, to be fair, we are a different kettle of fish at home than we are away. We do tend to come out swinging when we are at home, and it's just making sure if we take an early chance, then again, I'm not saying it's going to be a QPR score, because I don't think we'll get another one of them, but I do think that we'll push on, and Lampard definitely wants to go for the jugular in most home games, if not all home games. And he's not going to settle for one. He will make them push, and I think that's the slight difference between Robbins and Lampard. Is if we went 1-0 up early, Robbins would try and sit back until half time and then try a go again early on in the second half, where Lampard's not like that. Lampard, from minute one, he just wants to go for the jugular at home. Away from home is a little different, but at home we are a different beast. So hopefully we can start taking these chances that we're creating at home, because if we do, then we'll get another good score on someone. I'm not saying that you won't score. but I think it will be tit for tat, and I think we'll outscore most teams at home, especially. So, Mark, any other questions for Sam?
No, nothing more for me.
No. Any other questions for us, Sam, at the minute?
One more question, like about Coventry's front line. I've seen like the shapes kind of been a bit flexible, and as you said, like Lampard goes for it quite a lot. So, out of the attacking threats you've got, what kind of attacks are you most dangerous from? Because we've seen it with Blues, like with Coventry, we're pretty good at defending from open play. I think our numbers are very similar to yours in terms of the amount of goals we conceded from open play. So, like the way you guys go forward from open play, what kind of styles of attack do you have?
Go on, Mark. I'll let you take that one.
Well, how best can we hurt you? Like you kind of asked.
Yeah. So, like, is it crosses into the box, or is it just being like direct through the middle?
Generally speaking, it's crosses in the box, I would say, with us, particularly with Mason Clark and Sakamoto or Thomas Asante, whoever he goes with. But yeah, I think generally speaking, that's where our strength is our wide players. We are a decent counter-attacking side as well. We've got pace there as well. But yeah, that's generally where we get our goals. I mean, like I think an example that would be the Derby game where we were very good. We were very clinical that game, and we were good on the counter attack. The QPR game, well, that was just one of them games where every time we had a shot on target, it went in the back of the net. It was just one of them freak games where we won 7-1. And not being funny, that could have been 10-1. It was just that, and Norwich was another one. So yeah, I think generally speaking, it's not just about the wide players; it's also the combinations. You've got Milan Vajdac who can play, who plays a good supporting role as well. As Stuart mentioned earlier, with Jay Da Silva linking up well with Mason Clark, Gem on the left. So we are a good side to say going forward. I think that's our strength. But of course, we haven't mentioned one player, and that's Jack Redoni. Redoni as well is really good at picking up the ball from the middle. He's one of them players that he's quite unselfish, but he also has an eye for a goal. So we've got different aspects of where we can hurt teams. And I think for me, I think we were one of the best attacking sides in the division. We've got a lot of real quality there, and we get goals in different divisions, different positions. Sorry, so we're not just relying on Haji Wright scoring. I mean, he's got 6 already this season, but we're not typically reliant on him. We get goals from different positions, and that's a real strength. I just feel that if we can get that defence sorted out, then you could say, well, you know what, top 2 is on this season, but that's the key. Like any game of football, is keeping clean sheets. If you can do that and win 1-0, then whatever, then that's great. So, but yeah, overall, I'm happy with our forward play generally.
Yeah, obviously, I'll mention Haji Wright. I've been his biggest critic, if you like, for me, and I have said that he doesn't work hard enough when we need him to. Really, he tends to, or he did last season, go off a little bit on his own and not really hassle and chase. But this year he started off like a house on fire. I still want to see a little bit more from him because I think there is more to give. But he's joint top goal scorer in the division on 6 with Josh Sargent. And if we see an on-form Haji Wright and the way that he can play, then he could easily score a hat-trick like he did against Sunderland at our place last season. So it depends on what Haji Wright turns up, but he has been more consistent this year in turning up. So hopefully, he likes a good battle. He's got a good head on him, and he's good. Against Norwich, he could have scored 2 or 3 quite easily. And it was like Mark said, it was just one of them games where nothing would go in for us really until he scored in the 98th minute or whatever it was. But yeah, again, Jack Redoni for me, he's been off the boil a little bit, so I'm hoping to see that he comes back with a little bit of form because, again, Jack on his day is probably one of the best in the division, if not the best in the division for me, because he's got everything. He is brilliant. So yeah, if everybody's on song, then yeah, it's going to be a really, really good game, and it's going to be a big test for you. And at home, I will give us the edge because at home we are a different beast, as I've mentioned already. So yeah, that's from me. So Mark, prediction then, please, for the game.
It'll be a tight game. It certainly won't be a 7-1 or whatever it was against QPR. So I don't expect that. I think it'll be a really cagey game. I expect Birmingham to be good defensively. So we're going to have to work hard to create the chances we need to win. I'm actually going to come off the fence and back us to win. I'm going for a nervy 2-1 win, but I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be one goal either way type of game. But I'm just going to tip it on our side. I think we'll win 2-1.
Okay, Sam?
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, kind of using your philosophy from earlier about, getting your 3 points at home and a point away, working out. And I feel like, this game's going to be a tough one in terms of defending the attack you guys have got. And now that we've mentioned it, I imagine we're going to score from a set piece. Considering we haven't scored one from all season. I feel it's going to be a really good watch as well. We're a much better side than the side we took to your ground a couple of years ago. I'm pretty sure we've got 9 or 10 different players. I think Stansfield the only one that is still there that will probably start from 2 years ago. So really looking forward to this one, and hopefully we can put up a good fight against one of the more favoured teams in the division.
Excellent. I think I went for a 2-1 on our X space, but I'm actually going to change my opinion. And just because we are at home, I've kind of bigged us up a little bit. So because we're at home, because I think that we're going to see a better Jack Redoni, a better Haji Wright, I'm going to tip us for a 3-1. I would like to go 3-0 and keep another clean sheet, but I think you will score. I think you have got a threat. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy 3-1 victory, because I don't. I think it is going to be a hard-fought game. But I think we're going to score 3 goals, and I think we're going to win 3-1. So that is my change of prediction, that we're going to 3-1 instead of 2-1. So that's me. So, any other questions, Mark?
No, nothing more for me, no.
Cool. Any other questions, Sam?
Yeah, all good for me, mate. All good.
Fantastic. So, as always, with the guests that we have on, we do quick fire questions. 1-worded answers if you can. If it goes into a bit more of a sentence, that's fine as well. But if you can, 1 words. And they're not difficult questions, to be fair. So you should be able to. So the first one is 1 player to look out for you guys for the season.
Clara.
Okay. That's is that the centre half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was something Darmstadt, I think, wasn't he?
He's a top quality defender.
Okay. Where will Cov finish?
3rd.
Ooh. Where will you finish?
7th.
Oh, okay. I like it because you're being honest and you're not just saying that you're going to finish in the top 6.
What I said at the start of the season, at the moment, I'm sticking to it. I think there's only a couple predictions that I've done from my pre-season ones that have already aged badly, but I feel like them two, I'm still fine with.
Okay, fair enough. And 1 player from Coventry you would take, if any?
Redoni.
Yeah. Most people say Redoni, to be fair. It's
we're
quite
crying
easy.
out for a number 10 as well, so I feel like he'd slot into that role perfectly. Late runs into the box,
Okay, fair enough. Typical Lampard, and that's who he's working under. His favourite player, apparently, so he said he loves Coventry City. Supposed to be signing a new bumper lucrative deal, but that still hasn't come out yet with whether he's signed or not. It might be announced before the Birmingham one. What an announcement that would be. Redoni signs a new 5-year deal just before the Blues games. Get everybody up and ready for it. And
but once they get the new deals, the form drops off a little bit. And
well, to be fair, I think the form's dropped off because he's waiting for a new deal. Once he's got the new deal, I think you'll see the form come back. That's my thinking and that's my logic.
Should we come into it though?
No, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. I know.
You're on the pitch. You're on the pitch. You don't think, what's coming my contract? You should be working on instinct, isn't it? You get the ball, you make decisions about who you pass it to or whether you go on a run.
But it plays into people's minds, mate. I'm telling you.
Well,
it does. I think it does. So, on that note, thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much, Sam, for joining us. It is very much appreciated. When we finish recording, don't shoot off, and we'll have a quick chat afterwards as well, if that's okay. So, on that note, just remember, it is scrolling down the bottom as well. Just remember where you can find us. We are available on X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Please go and like and subscribe if you watch us. please go and rate us 5 stars if you listen to us on as a podcast. We are sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications. We are partnered with the Sky Blue Tavern and Dylan's Brewery. And we are also teamed up with Sports Social Network and Sky and Friends dog walking and pet sitting services. So we are up for an FCA as well, which is Football Contents Award. Please go and vote. It is very much appreciated and we would love to win. We're really privileged to be shortlisted, but it would be amazing to win. So as many votes as we can just to try and get us up that board as well. So, yeah, thank you very much. Play up Sky Blues. Good luck, Sam, apart from obviously our games that we play against each other, but good luck for the rest of the season. Mark, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you guys soon.